Hi guys, it's Night Fear, and yes, this is my face, and I'm sorry that it's a little dark, but because of the way I have my phone, I'm doing it the selfie way so that I can see and make sure I'm in frame and everything, and also so I can turn it off when it's time. So I don't have the light. So it's a little dark in this corner, and my books are up here. So my Stephen King, see, Stephen King, yay, and over here. So anyway, I just finished 13 Reasons Why, and of course it's going to be backwards. But I wanted to do a discussion video about this book, and the reason is I have seen a lot of reviews about this book, a lot of discussions about this book, and I just kind of wanted to come on with my 2 cents. I watched the Netflix show when it originally came out, and I know it was a long time ago, and season 2 is actually just come out, and I have not seen that. I do not have Netflix right now, so I'm not able to watch that. But that show was very powerful. As someone who has suffered from depression my entire life, who actually had thoughts of suicide when I was a teenager, I could see her point. I could I understood. I understood Hannah and where she was coming from. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, to explain to everyone why this book has meaning, and has meaning to, I'm sure, a lot of us. So I marked some, and I usually don't mark page, and especially this is a library book, so I did tab. I have 4 things that I wanted to read to you, what I wanted to share, and just share my thoughts. And hopefully this is not going to be too long, and hopefully somebody gets something out of this, or at least maybe, you know, you think about this book a little differently, or maybe other, you know, problematic books differently. Common Spence just did a wonderful video about problematic books, and you know how it is, or what should you feel like if you enjoy problematic books. And I think where my generation, when I was younger, we didn't have all this trigger warning, problematic books, all this. You just read a book for enjoyment, or you read a book for information. Now it's like a book is dissected, and any little thing wrong or any little problem in it is labeled problematic. And it doesn't matter. You don't seem to find people say, oh, well, maybe the author wrote it for this reason, or maybe, you know, it's to bring about this, or you know, it's just labeled. And I think that's wrong. I think we have gone too far the other way. Now, there are bad books. There are books that, you know, don't have a reason for it, that have, you know, language and subjects and things like that that are purely just shock value. That is wrong, and I totally agree with that. However, I do not believe that this book, 13 Reasons Why, and it's by Jay Asher, if I didn't mention that, I don't feel that this book did that. So anyway, so the first thing, oh, and for those of you, okay, I'm trying not to really do too many spoilers. I am going to, like I said, read a little bit of sections, because I really don't believe in spoilers. But to do this discussion the right way, I am going to have to read just these 4 little things from this book. But for those of you that do not know what this book is about, it is about this boy named Clay who receives in the mail these cassette tapes. And they were sent to him by this girl that he had a crush on, and her name is Hannah. And Hannah committed suicide. And there are 7 tapes, and they are marked on each side, like one side is 1, the other side is 2, and there's 13, you know, 13 sides. So the second side of tape 7 is blank. And so there's 13 people that not that she blames. A lot of people say that she blames. I don't think she blames them. I think it was just, in her mind, it was like, you know, it was this on top of this on top of this, and this was the 13 people that were stacked, that made it like this. Except for, you know, no, I don't want to say that because that's kind of a spoiler. But it, you know, and so she has them send these tapes to, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, to 13 people, and Clay happens to be one of these people. And, you know, she explains, she tells the story, she tells them why she feels this way, and she really shows, if you read the whole book and read it open-mindedly, she shows how somebody can, you know, take, and some of the things were not little, but, you know, even the little things, or something that you might not feel is any big deal, she shows how to certain people, it can be a big deal, especially if you have the levels. So anyway, the first thing I wanted to read is, this is actually Hannah talking. It's on one of the cassettes. Let's see. It says, I guess that's the point of it all. No one knows for certain how much impact they have on the lives of other people. Oftentimes we have no clue. Yet we push it just the same. And that's true. You know, in my life, even today, and I have a lot of issues still with self-esteem. Like I said at the beginning, I do have depression. I have developed anxiety. And that's probably having to do with a lot of my other illnesses, but I won't go into that in this video because I did a coloring and chat video. If you're curious about all my illnesses, you can go over there and watch the color and chat video, and I went into some of that. But, you know, even today, I can go into a live video, and this doesn't happen all the time because there are certain people that are wonderful, that make me feel welcome, that make me feel like I matter. But there are some live chats that I've been in that the host, I'll come in, and every time I come in, anybody that knows me, sees me in the live chats, I always do hi all, and I do my little glitter hearts, and I either do 2 or 3. The glitter hearts are kind of something that's mine. So when you see the glitter hearts, you know it's me. Or the sparkly hearts, whatever, the little emoji, you know. And so, you know, and a lot of times I go in there and different people that they know me, they'll say hi, you know, and then the host will say hi. Well, sometimes I've gone into these chats, the host will not say hi, you know, and nobody in the room will say hi. And so, okay, you know, the host is busy, there's a lot of people, I wait. You know, and they make comments here and there, and the host still doesn't acknowledge me. Nobody else acknowledges me. It's like I'm invisible. And that brings back all the feelings I had in high school, where I felt worthless, where I felt like I didn't matter. And so when I was reading this book, I could feel what Anna felt and understood. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry. And some people will never know how that feels. Some people are not made that way. And so that is this book is a good way, if you've ever wondered how or why somebody might feel that way to commit suicide. This is a really good book to read. Because you might get an idea or some understanding about that. Okay, so the next, this next little part kind of goes along with that. She's telling a story about a different thing, and one of her teachers, set out bags for the kids to write anonymous notes to each other, you know, as a positive way. And one of the boys was stealing her notes. And this is what Hannah was saying about it on the tape. It says, "And the next day, nothing in my bag. The note was gone. Maybe it didn't seem like a big deal to you, but now I hope you understand. My world was collapsing. I needed these notes. I needed any hope these notes might have offered." So, you know, she was saying she needed a lifeline. She needed something. And I think sometimes, you know, all of us do. And that's why I try to always be positive and to always, in my real life, I am a hugger. I give hugs all the time. I compliment people all the time. And it's easy, you know, "Hey, I like your shirt. Hey, your hair looks nice. Hey, I like your nails." It's easy to find stuff to compliment people on. You just have to look. You just have to try. And just those, you know, I know when somebody says something like that to me, it matters. Because they see you. When they say something like that, you're not invisible anymore. And so that's why I end my videos with, you know, remember to be kind to each other. Because I think we are really lacking kindness in this world. And we forget to be kind to each other, to take care of each other. Oh, this is kind of not what this video was supposed to be. I wasn't supposed to be crying and everything. So another part that I wanted to read, she wrote a poem. Hannah did, and she read it. And actually, what happened is somebody stole this poem, published it, and and they didn't, of course, they didn't put her name to it, and everybody around her was talking about this poem, and kind of criticizing and saying stuff, and didn't realize that she had written it, and it hurt her very much, you know, because this was something she had written, and I really wanted to read her poem. And then I have a couple of poems that I wanted to read you that I wrote in high school. Just so you can see that this book is not, I mean, it is fiction, but it's not. There are people that feel this way. There are people that write this way. There are, you know, those of us that have depression, and sometimes not, but especially those of us that have depression and go through these things. You know, things affect us differently. And so, you know, maybe don't share the cruel things, you know, share positive things. Don't share negative. Now, if it's constructive criticism, that's different. But I still would hope that you would be nice when you're, you know, critiquing something or criticizing something critically. So this is her poem that's in the book. And I'm going to hold the book up like this, so if you don't want to hear the poem because you want to read this and you don't want to hear the poem right now, I'll put the book down when I'm done with the poem. So just, you know, like turn down the volume or fast forward or whatever, okay? So she titled this poem, "Soul Alone." I meet your eyes, you don't even see me, you hardly respond when I whisper hello. Could be my soulmate. Two kindred spirits, maybe we're not, I guess we'll never know. My own mother, you carried me in you, now you see nothing but what I wear. People ask you how I am doing, you smile and nod, don't let it in there. Put me underneath God's sky and know me. Don't just see me with your eyes, take away the mask of flesh and bone and see me for my soul alone. So that was very powerful, and it reminded me of a couple of poems that I had written, and strangely enough, I wrote these in high school. Because I've always been a sensitive soul, as you can see, crying here, and I was always picked on because I was always tall, I've always been heavy, you know, and it's just something that's always been. So, I'll just read you these two because I don't want to bore you to death, but I'll read you one, and then I'll read you one that that this poem kind of reminded me of. This first one is called Fumes. Fumes of burning pain linger around her heart, choking her life, killing her dreams. Pain has fueled this great death fire. Love has become just a memory. Hate fills her life now. The fire kills her from the inside, slowly working its way out. Death comes slowly and lingers with the fumes. Like I said, high school. And here's the one that kind of reminded me about her poem with, at the end when she was talking about masks. And this is, I was kind of talking about a friend, but it actually kind of describes me too. Actually, a lot of us, I think it describes. This one I didn't title, but it's kind of like, I would think I would title it now, The Mask. So, anyway, this is it. He puts on his face and walks among the people. Looking out of his mask, he sees the happiness of others. He smiles, but on the inside his heart cries out. He doesn't let his feelings escape. He locks them in their prison under his mask. His mask protects him from the pain of life and love. Yet I have broken through the mask and found his true face underneath. I must walk carefully among the pieces of his broken mask, so not to disturb them. He will glue them back together, turn away from me, and walk out among the people with his cracked, misplaced face. So, and I have tons. I have lots and lots of poems that I wrote. Some of them are not very good. And some of them are, but most of them are very depressing, very talking about, love loss, being invisible, no one caring. And that's why I think I got this book. I understood this book. And there was only one instance where a boy had just broken up with me, and I probably was 15 or 16. And this was like my first true love. I mean, love. And I was just so depressed, and for some reason I had a pair of scissors in my hand, and I was just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over my wrist. And I still actually have a little scar on my wrist from that. Now, it didn't go very deep, and I stopped myself before, it went any further. But it was just, that's how sad, and that's how depressed, and that's how upset I was. Now, at 19, I started having kids. And when I was pregnant with Kaylin, I think was about as bad as my depression has ever been. I was staying in a hotel by myself at the time. A lot of stuff was going on I'm not going to get into, but I was alone at the time. And I was staying in a hotel, and I just wouldn't leave the hotel room. I just didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. And true, I mean, there was thoughts of suicide there. But once again, I was pregnant with Kaylin, and I knew my other kids needed me. So I didn't do anything. And lately I haven't had any of those thoughts. I mean, every once in a while I'll have thoughts like, would anybody really miss me if I left? Would anybody notice if I was gone? But that's about all as far as the thoughts go. It's not like it's, she talks in here that at the beginning, she didn't, here comes Christopher. Hi, Christopher. She talks at the beginning. Say hi, Christopher. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. You're not going to talk? Here comes Kaylin to fetch Christopher. Say hi. And there's Kaylin.
Hi.
Alright, come on guys. I'm not quite done with my video, and it's like going on 20 minutes. I'm almost done, so. Okay, bye-bye. Love you.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Close the door, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow, I forgot what I was saying.
Can you use her a popsicle?
Yes.
Can I get me a popsicle?
Yes, go away. Oh, yeah, she talks in this book about, she couldn't even, at the beginning of the tape, she couldn't say the word suicide. And she talks about how at first, you know, when this stuff first was going on, like me, she was just thinking about, you know, hey, what if I wasn't here? Would anybody miss me? Stuff like that. But she never had a plan. She never, you know, went any further. And as the tapes, as you go on through the book, it kind of gets, you know, you can see how just the pile on pile on pile on pile and how it affected her and things like that. So, one more thing I want to read. I know this video is so long. Sorry guys, I didn't want this video to be quite this long, but I just felt this was important, and I wanted people to understand, and I wanted you to see a face to go along with the book of somebody that could have went this way, that could have ended up this way. And sometimes I don't know why at the beginning when I was a teenager why I didn't. So anyway, it says, oh, you don't know what went on in the rest of my life, at home, even at school. You don't know what goes on in anyone's life but your own. And when you mess with one part of a person's life, you're not messing with just that part. Unfortunately, you can't be that precise and selective. When you mess with one part of a person's life, you're messing with their entire life. Everything affects everything. And it reminds me of, you know, the pebble, you know, how you know, and the ripples and the butterfly effect and all that stuff. You know, you don't know how your one unkind word affects somebody. Or the reverse, you don't know how your one kind word. I've heard stories where, you know, somebody was planning on killing themselves and somebody took the time and said something nice or had a conversation or whatever, and it changed their mind. I mean, you never know. You don't know where people are coming from. So anyway, 13 Reasons Why. If you are curious about, you know, why someone might commit suicide or what might be their thinking, this is a great book. I did give it a 4 just because he goes back and forth. When she's talking, when Hannah's talking on the recording, it's italicized, and then when Clay is thinking in his head or saying something, you know, you know what he's doing, it's just in regular type. And sometimes that kind of brought me out of the story a little bit, and I didn't care for that, but I'm not sure how else he would have done it. So it's just, that's just me, and I didn't like being brought out of the story. I liked being in it, you know, just submersing myself in it. And honestly, I think that's my only complaint about this. I didn't see it as problematic. I really saw it as a story that could have been me. As a story that, you know, might show somebody, hey, you know, don't be mean to other people, because not that you're the cause, but you might just push somebody over the edge. And it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It's not even Hannah's fault. It's how she felt. And to her, that was her only choice left. You know, the last tape goes into somebody that could have stopped her if the conversation just would have went differently. And she gave it a chance. She even says, you know, this is the last chance, depending on how this conversation goes. And the way the conversation went, she thought her only choice was to die. So, so please leave it down in the comments if you've read this. I do understand a lot of people are going to probably hate on this video, and that's okay too. But I hope that you've watched this video all the way through and kind of can understand why somebody would like this book and why this book can be important to somebody. So yeah, that's my video, and try to be kind to each other, obviously for the reasons in this video. And I will be making a lot of videos today because I'm way behind, and some of that's my depression. Some of it's, you know, these videos are easy when I have the things here that are mine and that I can do that tomorrow. And the library book ones I've done because I have to do them and put them back, you know, put the library books, eventually turn them in. So it's kind of pushed me to do the videos, where the other ones, you know, and usually I have my TBR, my wrap up and everything done the very 1st of June, and it's already the 4th, and I haven't done it yet. So thank you for listening, and be kind to each other, and I love you, and I will see you in the next video.